All right. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time today, Leigh. I appreciate you. Yeah. So, what made you first interested in ketamine as a treatment?
So I've been diagnosed with all sorts of mental illness since I was a teenager. Diagnosed with depression as a teen, anxiety as an early adult, ADHD as an early adult, and then PTSD after a really traumatic time about 5 years ago.
Mm.
And so within all those years, I've done lots of therapy and I've been on lots of different medications and upped my dose and changed my dose and all very grateful for all that stuff, very helpful, especially the tools I learned like in therapy and stuff. And but I think just after this, 2020, I think was hard for a lot of people, and like kind of getting out of it. I think I convinced myself, oh, it was just because of the pandemic, but then it just never really got better.
Right.
And then I had a baby, and so I think like my depression was there, and then on top of that, the postpartum depression showed up. And I just started kind of getting into a place where it was like suicidal thoughts just sounded so relieving. And I knew that like my life was good. I really didn't have anything to be upset about. So that I knew just from experience, going back to a doctor, I'd probably just be put on a different medication or upped my dose. So I kind of just ignored it, for a while until I had a client who was telling me that her daughter had done ketamine treatments, and it kind of intrigued me, and so that's why I called.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm so glad you came in.
Yeah, me too.
It's been pretty awesome. So what made you decide to proceed with the ketamine treatments at our clinic in particular?
Well, for one, it was just it was something new, and I know I needed to change, and so I just kind of wanted to dive in. But definitely like just seeing the office and meeting you and the other people here, it was just very comfortable, very professional. And, like it's, when you hear ketamine, you just think of like a street drug,
Right. Yeah,
and I'm a parent of 5 kids. And so I am not okay with illegal drugs.
Sure.
And so I think just knowing that, it was a professional, atmosphere, and I felt safe and all that was really helpful. And I was, at that point, willing to try anything. So
well, I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Really good. How was your first experience, the first ketamine?
So the first experience, I tried not to do too much research, just because I didn't want to get too freaked out or get too hopeful, really.
Right.
And so I think just going with the flow, I got put in this comfortable room and was set up with, some tools to kind of use throughout the treatment. And the treatment itself was, just interesting. It kind of just obscures your thoughts and visions and stuff like that. And then I was a little out of it that day, but it was fine.
Yeah, good, cool. Yeah, you were saying at one point like the actual experience wasn't your jam, as the after effects
exactly,
that you really benefited.
And I think like I kind of expected to have some awakening during the actual treatments, which I never did in any of my visits, but it was fine because it was like days later, all of a sudden I would just like feel tremendously different, and it just never stopped doing that. So it was great. So it wasn't even a moment. It was like I had a complete change, and it's like remained that way, which has been so amazing.
How's your suicidality been?
Great. I haven't even like gone down that road once since my treatment, and that was awesome. What, 2 months ago?
That makes me so happy. So
yay. So happy.
How's your overall experience?
So the overall has been really amazing. I think I was kind of just on this like autopilot in life where I was like, you wake up, do the same thing, go to bed, wake up, do the same thing, go to bed. So then even when it came to like the harder parts of my day, I just didn't really feel like I had much control over how to react to them, or they would just kind of all spiral out of control, and it just kind of left me in the same place. But after like a couple of days of my first treatment, it was like I woke up feeling in a good mood and excited for the day. And I hadn't felt that probably in over 5 years.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that until I felt it. And I went, oh my gosh, like this is what it feels like, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think from there, it was like just every day I started to just like get excited about the day and like look forward to the future. And, you know, like, because when you're kind of lost in that space, you get used to it. So it's like, it's okay. But, you know, there's
really
nothing to
not.
look forward to. There's no hope. There's no,
Yeah.
you know, and then
Yeah,
when it
it's
kind of came back to me, I was just like, wow. So I kind of took it and ran and just like
you
had
look
so much,
great.
you know, like motivation to go work out again and to spend more time with my kids. And the most amazing thing is like the times that I do get triggered, you know, I can kind of, in a way, take a step back and look at it now and kind of break it down to like, this is factual, this is not, let this go. Whereas before I couldn't do that, it would kind of just like swallow me up and run out of control. That whole day I would be like, oh, this is just gonna end me. And then the next day feel like, whoa, that was a bit intense, you know? But I think just in that space of my mind, that negative place, it's like it can just, like I said, swallow you up and everything seems so real and so scary and
so heavy.
And so for whatever reason, you know, that it seemed like the ketamine treatment's almost like it was like my breaker tripped and it went in there and like turned on the lights and it was able to to just kind of like, you know, it seems like everything in a weird way is working now in my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the chemical reset for sure.
And it did. It really did. And, you know, I still have hard days. I still have my, these triggers that will get to me, but I can kind of, you know, hold space for them now and see them for what they really are and not just have them define who I am as a person, because they're not, and it's not. And
that's huge.
And it's been life changing. I mean, it really has. It's changed my life. And I don't even know how to explain that any more than what it just is.
Life changing.
It really was. And I'm like so glad that I took the chance, especially with it being, you know, this new kind of phenomenon and has kind of a,
what's this all about?
But I'm super happy now, and it just feels so good and so relieving.
Oh, I love it, Leigh.
For sure.
Is there anything in particular that you think would be beneficial for people to know who may be thinking about going forward with these treatments?
So, you know, probably the two main obstacles when it comes to doing this is probably the financial part of it and just the time that you kind of have to dedicate. And so I could see how easy it'd be to just say, I can't afford that, or I don't have time for that. But the truth is, like, you know, if you even look at it in the form of an emergency surgery that you had to have, and then you're like forced to spend these 6 weeks recovering and reaching out to family and friends to help you out and freaking out about the money, but knowing that we live in a country where you can go make more money. You can always go make more money. You know, you pick up a side job.
Yeah, especially when you're in a good headspace.
Exactly. And so that's what I would tell people is like, don't let those little things hold you back from it, because they'll get worked out. You know, if you need help, you know, getting your kids or something at home, ask someone to help you, set it up, just be prepared for those. You know, I did the full 3-week treatment and it wasn't the easiest thing, but sometimes life's that way. And, you know, I would look at it like somebody just threw you this opportunity and it doesn't matter. Like the outcome could be so much more worth than ever saying no to it. And so, you know, it's expensive, it's time consuming, but it's life changing. And that's all that's important. You know, life's about being joyful and enjoying it. It's not about all the other stuff and money and time. And so
when you're in a good headspace,
it makes everything worth it. Absolutely. So that's what I tell people.
Cool. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
You know, I think I feel bad how I stereotyped the ketamine in general. And so like it's exciting to know that, you know, there are things, there's different ways of looking at different things and giving it a chance. And I'm you know, now I'm like an advocate, and I'll tell everybody I
Oh,
love
that.
ketamine.
Yeah,
But,
thanks so much.
yeah,
Really
and
appreciate you coming
and
in.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so excited that it worked, I guess.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
It did. It
Yeah,
worked really well for me.
You've done stellar. You put the work in too. You know,
Yeah,
which is always super
absolutely.
helpful.
Yeah, and I think like in a normal setting, you know, of seeing a therapist on the regular during it would be really great. For me, I just kind of saw my therapist. I talked to her a few times on the phone, or because, like I said, I didn't really have anything to actually get over. I just felt kind of stuck in this dark place, and
you've done so well for yourself.
Thank you,
really
Casey. I
appreciate you
appreciate
taking
that.
the time and
Heck yeah.
yeah, coming in.
Yeah, it's been great.
Bringing a little homie here.
Are you tired?
She's a rock star. Awesome.
But yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
again.
so welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, totally.